Well, you now, I think, have moved into what I call like your late period, where you seem to, well,
It is late.
well, no, what I mean is you've moved into a sort of mature set of positions and a kind of indefatigability and a sort of ballsiness that a lot of public intellectuals are worried about doing.
Yeah, I've been called every name in the book.
Right, but you've been forced into this position where now you just say what you really think.
Freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose.
But this, I think, is why you and I have always got on, because maybe I reached this position earlier in life where very early, I mean, within
You have no idea how young you are.
within a year of being politically active, suddenly I'm and this is remarkable to me. I'll tell you, I know that you have many friends from all over the world, but coming from a nice family with a good education, being brought up in a newsroom in London, in the Telegraph, which is it's quite a genteel sort of place, and you come to America, you realize how savage the culture wars are over here, and just expressing reasonable, respectable points of view and telling a few jokes along the way and being provocative and obnoxious and whatever. Suddenly you're an anti-Semite, a racist, a sexist, a homophobe, a transphobe,
A pedophile.
But it's very. It was extraordinary to me coming over from.
I meant that about me.
Oh, you too.
I tweeted. Well, there's this political assassination going on of Roy Moore by the left.
Right.
It's 38 years ago. Now we have guilt by accusation. I don't like Moore particularly, but there's this political assassination. We have to rally around him the way the Democrats do when they're a target. And so they said I was first a supporter of. He isn't technically even a pedophile. A pedophile is pre-adolescent.
Yeah.
And then the hypocrisy of these progressives. Anthony Weiner admitted that he was a sexual predator, and he had to go, and then he runs for mayor of New York as a sexual predator. The whole Democratic Party supports him.
Yeah. This is a function of the moral collapse of Hollywood. The collapse in its moral foundations.
Of the political left generally.
And of the political left generally. And it's remarkable. These people sort of exist in intricate symbiosis, supporting each other, protecting each other, making each other mutually powerful and untouchable.
I am so enjoying their misery.
Isn't it great?
I've seen leftists who are accused of sexual harassment for nothing.
Yeah.
But I'm just enjoying it.
I almost don't care.
I'm not going to stick my neck out to rescue you.
Look, we can, in our most high-minded moments, admit that, of course, we believe in due process, and we do believe in due process. It's a cornerstone of the legal system and all the rest of it. But you can't deny how delicious it is that progressives, who have for 30 years destroyed conservatives' reputations on the basis of mere allegations, are finally getting a taste of their own medicine with tools they themselves created. Exactly. I'm almost starting to like BuzzFeed again, because they just don't care anymore. They don't care anymore. They're just like, you know what? We invented this, and it's going to take out everyone we love, and it's eventually going to kill us, but we're just going to go for it.
They believe it's virtuous.
But
it's called being hoist on your own petard.
Right, which I learned recently is a kind of bomb. I should have known that from Hamlet, but I messed up in another interview, and I had a very angry commenter saying, "How do you not know this? You're English." It's a kind of bomb. No, it's absolutely delicious, and it is very hard not to just sit back and laugh, because they had it coming. They deserve this, Yeah. And sure.
I saw Megyn Kelly interviewing a congressional staffer who claimed to have been sexually harassed, abused, molested, and what was the incident? Her boss, she was on a communications staff, bumped into her at a bus stop and said, "You're really hot looking." They are making women toxic. I am so glad I'm not 18 or 20.
Well, this is the only national controversy I'm relatively sure I can't be dragged into. I mean, this is the only thing they can't get me on. There is a serious side to this, though, and it is that feminism always hurts women the most. Feminism always sets women back.
Feminism is cancer, I heard somebody.
Somebody once said that, bravely. But this is, I mean, to give you an example from tech, which is
recklessly,
maybe, yeah. To give you an example from tech, which is an area I know a little bit about. So Linus Torvalds is the inventor of Linux, which is ultimately the great grandfather of the software that runs your iPhone, right? And he now will not be in a room alone with a woman for any reason whatsoever, because he's worried that these feminist activist groups who have admitted that they deliberately send people out on entrapment missions, on honey traps, to try to take out prominent men in tech, to make a political point. And they're perfectly happy to admit that they're just taking scalps, whether people deserve it or not, to make a point about women in tech. He now won't spend time with women privately.
Nazis.
Of course, but who does that hurt? Who does this situation hurt? It doesn't hurt Linus Torvalds, because Linus Torvalds has made it. The people it does hurt are women who want to be mentored by him, women who might want to be employed by him. I mean, what's the obvious consequence if you're a
They
guy?
don't think in terms of practical consequences.
Right.
It's a religion. It's makes them feel righteous and noble.
But it's like, if I was, this is why so few women like feminism anymore. I mean, as in the American statistics, fewer than 1 in 5 women now will describe themselves as a
If I was in college today, I wouldn't go near a woman. I mean, they haul you into a kangaroo court, and, you know.
Because you touched a boob.
Well, I wouldn't even do that.
In previous generations, where a woman would just turn around and say, "Keep your effing hands to yourself, or I'll get my dad to beat you up."
How difficult is that?
So, but the problem is that women suffer from this because in ways they will never even know, because they're not given opportunities, because men are too worried about X, Y, Z. You know, they're hired into positions where they're, whether it's marketing positions or whatever, where they're, or HR, which is already primarily staffed by women, where the risk of sexual harassment lawsuits is low, and they're not put into predominantly male teams like computer developers or whatever, perpetuating what they in the first place say is this terrible indignity and injustice visited upon women. It hurts them the most. Another group in America that,
Well, hear me roar. Women are not oppressed. Women are incredibly powerful.
I mean, white middle-class women in America must be the most privileged group since the history of the human civilization. Like, since there has been human society, since the first progressive started sorting people into skin color, sexuality, and gender.
If you're a hot-looking woman, you can turn that into cash. But you can also use it to ruin a guy's career.
I always used to say, because I was a tech reporter as well, this is coming from before I did any of this stuff, and all this women in tech stuff was bubbling up. This is how I got into the culture wars, because there was this world being described that I didn't recognize from my reporting experience. And female entrepreneurs were telling me, are you kidding? It's the best thing imaginable, because if I can hold my own against the guys, I get more press coverage. Everyone shuts up when I walk in the room. They want to hear what I have to say. I'm like a unicorn. It's the best competitive advantage for my business imaginable. Being a woman in a male-dominated industry.
It's the same with any left-wing designated minority.
If you got it and you're ready to bring it.
Males are the minority.
Well, in higher education, certainly.